So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to greet our honoree, one of the great stars in our business, Jack Carter. Let's get him up here. Come on, Jack.
Thank you. This is truly a very special evening. Incidentally, I must say that this is the best show I have ever sat through and applauded. I had no idea it would be such a magnificent evening and a great honor for me. It really is. And I've been honored recently by the City of Hope that gave me the Spirit of Life Award, and then the B'nai B'rith gave me a beautiful black tie dinner. But of all the honors, this certainly was the most recent. Auf der Pragenabend habe ich warten sollte. I started that whole thing. Sid used to get up at dinners and didn't know what the hell to do, because after Hello, Sid's in big trouble. We started in New York together. Many of you who are old enough will remember the Jack Carter show. It was on NBC, and it went on an hour before Caesar Coca. I was the first hour, and he was the second hour. Then we would meet after, and we'd go out. In those days, Sid drank a little. In fact, he drank so much that Florence used to have to lie on the couch on the floor next to him so she could see what he looked like standing up. And Sid drank massively, and he would tear sinks out of the wall. He was a boy, wow, that's all he would say. Yeah, good, nice boy. Yo, Jack, funny. Wow, wow. But no words ever came out. He was like Frankenstein, like the golem, you know. Boy, wow. So I devised a thing for him. We did a dinner in New York, the Friars dinner, and I said, we are very happy to have the pilot of the Russian plane that just shot down the Korean airliner. I said, Sid, just do Russian. And we're very happy. I'm going to introduce him as his name is Ivan Kochetkov, and he is here today. Ivan, would you tell us what happened on the flight, on the plane? He said he doesn't know. He was in the back humping the stewardess. And that's how all the double talk began. And I love the wonderful story about the cantor who has a woman steal his tallis. She is so in love with the cantor that while he takes a break, she sneaks up to the stage, to the bima, takes his tallis and shoves it under her skirt and starts out of the temple. But the gabbai, the guard, sees her at the back and says, Mrs., you stole the temple, you stole the thing, from the tallis, you give it back. I stole a tallis? You admit it, huh? I didn't. If you don't, I'll reach under and I'll take it. She wouldn't dare. She says, you better give it back or I'll take it. So she bent down. As she did, she passed the little wind. He says, and give back the chauffeur also. Just little charming bits along the way. Look at these shows we have today. Today a man says to his wife, you want to go to sleep or you want to have sex? She says, I want to go to sleep. Is that your final answer? She says, yes. He says, good, I'm going to phone a friend. Crazy, insane world we're living in. Insane world. I loaned the guy $15,000. I have his face completely redone. Now I can't find the son of a bitch. You believe the lottery is 63 million, 83 million? And who always wins it? A Vietnamese or a Mexican from somewhere in Glenfield, California. No one you can really enjoy, like a Jew, an Italian, an American. They'll say, wow! A Mexican's 63 million. What you going to do? Tell him no cololo. What does that mean? I'm not going to quit my job. I'm going to stay. I'm going to work. I don't quit. 63 million. I don't need it. Guy ran home the other day. He won $38 million. He ran into his house. He said, honey, 38 million, Marcia. I won 38 million. My God, rich beyond all our dreams, Marcia. I want you to start packing. She said, winter clothes or summer? He says, I don't give a crap. I want you out of here in 10 minutes. Jan, I think I'll forget my opening song. But Jan loves when I sing. He gets so pissed off. What a night. Jan Murray and Shecky Green and Sid Caesar and my buddy Norm Crosby and John Biner and all the wonderful comedians. It makes you realize that nobody's working. We're all laying off. For Saturday, we have nothing to do. Not even Gene Bayless has got something to do somewhere. And Howie Rapp can't even get us an afternoon, anything. In a condo somewhere. But it's a great thrill to be on it. And the greatest thrill was my wandering the party out there before fighting off a knish. Did you have one of those knishes? That was a dead weight. That was a death weight, cold death weight. People lining up for hot dogs, and I love the people. I always say one thing in my act. I say, never go to a high school reunion because you'll meet dead people that are still alive. And they kept coming up to me, little women, wrinkled, saying, remember me? And I said, don't tell me I married you somewhere. No, you felt me up once in the gym in the high school. You grabbed my tetska and you played around with me, I remember. We're all getting old together. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, having a 94-year-old orchestra. I know it's affecting me. Lately, I notice I'm starting to steal Sweet and Low. Little by little, I'm sneaking an envelope here, there. Give me the blue one. Give me the pink one over here. And I'm starting to take rolls home from restaurants. But it's a natural for us because Jews have a terrible fear of dying of hunger during the night. You ever been on a cruise? They take all the food home from that midnight buffet. So all you do on a cruise, walk around, grabs and eat. 7 days you walk around. First meal, we're in Barcelona. Screw Barcelona. We'll miss lunch. Second sitting, I've been there. I'll go to the first, second, then we'll come back. But we're in Monte Carlo. We got to see it. The hell with Monte Carlo. You know what they got for dinner tonight? Boiled fish. You got to have that. And you eat, and then you wander the deck looking, exploding, praying to be alone for a minute because you can't go to the bathroom in the suite because the suite is a closet. And the toilet is in the closet. And the toilet's got a suction with a gunshot in the bottom. Sucks your whole ass right in when you sit down. Oh, like a baboon comes out. So you wander the decks helplessly, wondering how to get rid of the gas. And other gas victims are coming the other way. And everybody winds up at the smokestack, waiting desperately to hear. And suddenly everybody gets a wonderful look in their face. And the ship turns all by itself. But the Jews, they take food to the room. After 3 meals and a luncheon and hors d'oeuvres in the pool, they got a midnight buffet. They take all the crap from the other meals. They restack it, put a cherry on, and serve it again. And people take food. Take for later, not for now. Here, put the plums over here. I'll put the croissants. In the Siskas, put the other tomato sauce. You take the eggplant. I'll take the other. And you hate each other on a cruise. If you hated somebody you're married to, it's all over. You never take me anywhere different. Try the kitchen once in a while, you pain in the ass. Why can't our sex life be like it was 10 years ago? Because the maid quit, that's why. You never tell me when you're having an orgasm. You're never near a phone, you imbecile. And they're up on the deck now fighting. They fight good on top of the deck. And the ship is waving. It's a windy night. And all of a sudden a wave comes up and whoosh, washes her overboard. She's gone. Oh, my God, my wife is gone. I'll have to go to the midnight buffet alone. Oh, my God. About a month later, he gets a telegram. Dear sir, a body identified as your wife washed up in Boston Harbor. We have the body in the morgue. Upon closer scrutiny, we discovered a giant oyster had embedded itself in her vaginal area. We opened the oyster and found a pearl worth $250,000. Please advise. He sent them a telegram. Send pearl to my above address immediately. Put woman's body back in water and reset trap. If you ever come to New York, you must go to the Botanical Gardens, where Howard Golden and the Brooklyn Committee and the Gas, Power, and Light Company of New York have created a Walk of Fame. Did you know about that? In the beautiful Botanical Gardens, which is preserved magnificently, right? Considering it's on Eastern Parkway, about 4 blocks away from a stabbing by the Hasidim. And in the park is a Walk of Fame, and I am so thrilled when I look there every year when I go by to make sure mine is still there. And there I am next to Danny Kaye. On the other side is Robert Merrill, whom I started in show business with Major Bose. Nobody remembers that? I honestly did. I did an Aunt Shirley Kitty Hour in Brooklyn on KVED, one of those Brooklyn stations, and I won the gift, and I went and I auditioned for Major Bose. I did 84 impressions. I was a mimic long before Fred Travalena was born. I did impressions, but I did impressions of people nobody gave a crap about. Like, who wanted to hear Maxie Rosenblum? Nobody, you know. Akim Tamirov, you know, voices of Maria Ospenskaya. I'm thrilled to do this show so that my family understands that I don't sell drugs. I'm really in show business. They have never seen me work. May I introduce them? My lovely family. I have my daughters here, Wendy, Vicky, my son Michael, and our little guy Chase. Have them all get up and take a bow, please. Wendy, Vicky, Michael, and little Chase. Milton isn't here. I thought Milton was going to be here. I was so sure, because in the comedy annals of time, you got to think of the great ones and the age and how we're moving along. Red Buttons now, 84. Milton Berle, God bless him, 93. Bob Hope, 99. I can't wait till I get old. And we had a 93rd birthday for Milton. God bless him. And Milton came in the room. He's still peppy and perky, and he moves nice. And he says, 93, my God, 93. These eyes have lived for 93 years in show business. And he said, these hands have lived for 93 years in show business. Then he looked down and he said, and if you had lived. A Brooklyn story, though. This recently happened. Our new president, George W. Bush. I love W. You know, a couple of months ago back in Texas, they hauled him out of a car. You know, he likes to nip a little. And get out the car. What's your name? Bubba? No, W. No, you Bubba. No, I'm W. I'm W. Bush. I'm the president. And the cop looked at him and said, you are, huh? And he said, so's your old man. You're the president, huh? You got any ID? He said, about what? George W. Bush the other day was talking to, you should pardon the expression, Dick and Colin of his cabinet. Is that a country, huh? We have a Colin and a Dick and a Bush. And he said, why the hell do the Jews know everything? Goddamn Israelis, the Mossad, they know everything. How do they get that information? And they said, well, Mr. President, they have an expression called Bus Titzach. Well, what the hell's that mean? Bus Titzach means, what do you hear? What do you know? And if you say that to a Jew, they'll tell you everything. God damn, I got to try that. Get me one of them Hasidim outfits there, you know. with the beard, with the payas, with the whole shot, with the whole thing. I want to look like Clint Eastwood with the rabbis out there. And they drove him in a station wagon to Brooklyn. They put him out on Eastern Parkway, and President Bush just stood there like this with a Hasidic outfit. And he walked up to another Hasid. He said, "What's Titzach?" And the old man said, "Shh, Bush is in Brooklyn." You're such a sensational audience. I hate to leave you wanting. I talked about the comedians. My great thrill is when Jan takes me to lunch at Hillcrest. Just to go to that club is such a great thrill. The first time I went, Milton took me, and I was so thrilled to sit there with Jack Benny, and George Barnes. And, of course, Groucho Marx was always there. And there was Jack Benny. Benny was always there at the table. And I was actually there once when Adolf Zucker, the head of Paramount, was 99 years old, walked by, looked at Benny and said, "You still alive? I thought we're both dead." That was the round table. Of course, the round table today has been replaced by Marvin Davis. That joke goes about as far as me. But you got to think young and stay young. And George Barnes was like that. God love him. At 101 years old, he'd have still been alive today if he didn't fall off the toilet seat. That's right. George reached over to get a Playboy magazine, hit his head on the toilet, and fell out and dead. Gone. And I love George. George was at the age when a girl said no, he said thank you. Sex at my age is like trying to shoot bull with a rope. How do you do it, George? With the young girls, how do you keep them going? He says, simple. I got a strobe light in the bedroom. Makes it look like I'm moving. Listen, I'm getting on, too, myself. The other day, somebody congratulated me on my alligator shoes, and I was barefoot. George, what is the secret? The secret is you can get older, but by God, you don't have to get old. I told George, I said, George, there's over 400,000 senior citizens in Beverly Hills alone. In fact, if every senior citizen in this town were laid end to end, very few of them could get up again. He says, that's it. You got to think young and be young. I'm always with Anne Margaret. I'm always with young girls, Carol Burnett, that's the trick. Keep moving and think young. Don't hang out with old farts. They'll drag you down. They're always sicker than you are. I said, really? Yeah, that's right. You always think young. And he goes away on the Love Boat all the time. He would go away on the Love Boat with a girl named Kathy. She was adorable, 28. She had loved him. When they came back, I had lunch with him at Hillcrest. How was the cruise, George? Marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. He always talked in threes. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. What about you and Kathy? Did you get it on? Did you do a little humantage? He says, you kidding? Almost every night. I said, really? He says, yeah, almost on Monday, almost on Tuesday. What happened? Well, we got to the stateroom and we laid naked, and I said to her, spread the legs. She did. I said, not yours, mine. She finally spread out. What could I do? I planted a tree for Israel. I couldn't. George was wonderful. Right about the end, he started to see a Beverly Hills doctor. And he went to one of these big phony Beverly Hills doctors on Bedford, Doctor said, what's wrong, Mr. Burns? He says, arthritis. Doctor said, how long have you had it? George says, ever since it first came out. Doctor treated him, gave him a bill for $10,000, and the check bounced. Then the doctor called him, Mr. Burns, your check came back. So did my goddamn arthritis. I love older people. I make stories about them. I collect them because that's who we work for, ladies and gentlemen. There's nothing left. We have to go on the boats and face the 80-year-olds wandering the deck looking for their cabin, or else we go to the condos, the death camps in Florida. And be very good to your grandchildren. Remember, they're going to pick out your retirement home. Remember that. Florida, the death camps they have down there where you wander around. Like lost souls, you walk around. Little couples like luggage walk. Where are we? Phase 3. No, we're Lake 4. No, we're in Lagoon 8, 12. Covert Operation 7. We're in Aisle 3. Condo 5, Section 12. On the other side of the lake. Come, Margaret, we'll walk. And the women are always ahead now. Women are ahead. They run, they go. They have the spandex tight. Nice, and the men schlep with the polyester slacks, with the sneakers from Kmart, dead men, with a baseball hat. What schmuck ever wore a baseball hat? My father ever put a baseball hat on? And where they going? To the mall. My wife's driving to the mall. You got married again? Yeah. You're 84. Why'd you get married? Beautiful woman? No, ugly, like a beast. You kidding? You look in the dictionary next to ugly is her picture. She must be a good cook. Cook can't even boil water, for God's sake. Jell-O she screws up. Well, then she must be good in bed. The Dead Sea Scrolls are livelier than her. So why did you marry her? She drives at night. Couple of women are driving in a car. All of a sudden, they're going through lights, through a red light, through another red light. And one woman says, Marsha, you went through 3 red lights. I'm driving. I love them little old people. Sam, who died, you or your brother? What's your name? How soon do you have to know? Huh? Oh, I feel terrible. I got HIV at 85, so what? I got IBM at 23. HIV, you moron, don't you know what that is, HIV? That's AIDS, a terrible thing, AIDS. Abe, what's the matter with Abe? I didn't hear from Abe. AIDS, you moron, it's a plague, a terrible thing. And now herpes. Herpes got AIDS. Little Herbie Greenspan got AIDS, not herpes. Herpes is awful. If you get it, gets all vergimmelt over here. All zerklachbit. You can't do it with herpes. It's terrible. Could we get it? I don't know. My son is a doctor. Come to my house. My son's books will open up a look. So they open up a book. H, hemorrhoids, hysterectomy, hinky-dinky, polyvoo, hematoma, whooping cough. Here it is. Herpes. We don't have to worry. It's a disease of the Gentiles. Gentile. And so we live and we worry and we go on, and it's always the mothers that carry the burden of everything. And you hear them always talking and raving about their sons. My favorite story, about my son Danny. My son Danny, that's why I'm here in Florida, in a great hotel in a condo, Beverly Hills. If you ever come to California, on Beverly Boulevard is Goodman Memorial. That's my son's hospital. My son is a walking cardiac arrest. Last month, my son performed 84 bypasses, all on the same man. My son is a genius, a heart specialist. He studied in Texas with DeBakey, with the great DeBakey, and he perfected a total transplant. You hear? Not a baboon, not a fly, a turtle. He took the heart from an ordinary turtle, and he put it into the body of a man, and Monday morning, that man walked out of the hospital. Thursday, he reached the parking lot. She said, big shot with your daddy. My Larry is the biggest criminal attorney in Pasadena, all-time champion lawyer. My son recently had a case of rape reduced to assault with a dead weapon. And when he graduated law school, he sued the law school and won back his tuition. Huh? That's my Larry, a great attorney, and he's got a shopping mall in Paramus City, New Jersey. How the hell I snuck that in, I don't know. Runs for 27 blocks. He owns it. He owns the mall. Your son owns a hospital. My son owns a shopping mall, 27. They turned to the third woman. What does your son do? She said, well, my son is a homosexual. They said, really? Where's his office? He doesn't have an office. What do you mean your son doesn't work? She said, thank God he doesn't have to. He has 2 wonderful friends. One is a doctor, owns his own hospital. And the best of times is now. What's left of summer, just a fading rose. The best of times is now. As for tomorrow, well, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So let each memory last. and live and love as hard as you know how, and make my memories pass, because the best of time is now, is now, is now. Now, not some forgotten yesterday. Da, 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 now. Roxanne, tomorrow is so far away. A big hand for my wife. Roxanne is here with all the brood I know. And take a bow, my dear, because the best of time is now. It's now, it's now, it's now, right now. God bless. Wonderful night.